Our world is aging, and that presents a massive challenge. How do we support older adults so they can live safely and, just as importantly, stay connected? Today, we're going to dive into how technology is trying to step up to the plate. We'll explore three very different approaches that are tackling everything from loneliness to physical safety. And the need for this is, well, it's urgent. A 2023 national poll on healthy aging dropped this bombshell of a number. 1 in 3 older adults say they feel isolated. Now, that's not just a feeling, right? It's a critical public health issue that tech is trying to solve, but there's a pretty big hurdle. It's called the digital divide. And look, it's not just about whether or not you have a tablet or an internet connection. The sources we're looking at point to this second level divide, which is all about having the skills and the confidence to actually use the technology. For a lot of people, it's a gap in knowledge that can feel like learning a whole new language. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll lay out the core problems, this gap in loneliness and safety. Then we're going to look at 3 potential tech solutions: empowering users with new skills, creating a kind of watchful safety net, and building an AI companion. And finally, we'll tie it all together by looking at the very human challenges that connect all of them. Okay, first things first, let's really frame the problem we're talking about. For a lot of older adults, this is a dual crisis. It hits their emotional well-being and their physical security all at once. And the emotional side, it's profound. The researchers Cassiapo, they don't mince words here. They directly link loneliness to depression and, get this, a shocking 26% increased risk of premature death. So this isn't just about feeling a little sad. It has severe, totally measurable health consequences. Then you've got the physical side, where there's this constant threat of falls. This chart right here, it shows the stark reality. For adults over 64, falls are a major cause of serious injuries, especially to their limbs. And this isn't just a statistic. It's a real-world threat that can completely upend someone's independence. So how do we start to fight back against this? Well, our first solution takes a really active approach. It's not about just handing people a piece of tech, but actually empowering them to use it. And this brings us to a fascinating program called Never Tech Lead. They had a really clever way of tackling this problem. Instead of having one teacher try to teach tons of people, they used what's called a train-the-trainer model. It creates this awesome ripple effect that helps scale up their efforts to fight isolation. So here's how it actually works. First, you have these experienced master trainers who teach a new group of volunteer coaches. But these coaches don't just learn about the tech itself, they learn how to teach adults effectively, which is a whole skill in itself. Then these newly trained coaches go out and deliver the lessons to older adults in their own communities. It's like a ripple effect of knowledge spreading out. Now this is where it gets really, really interesting, the lessons they learned. The coaches found just a massive variation in skill levels. I mean, some people had never even touched a computer, while others were already casual gamers. And the vocabulary was a huge barrier. One coach put it perfectly. It was like they were learning a new language. So what worked? Simple, step-by-step, hands-on help. And, maybe most important of all, building a real, supportive community around the whole learning process. All right, let's switch gears. Our second solution takes a totally different path. It's a much more passive approach. Instead of teaching skills, this one is all about creating an automated safety net. So the idea behind this system, called Elderfall Guard, is to use a simple camera to see if a person has fallen, and if they have, to automatically send an alert to a caregiver. The keyword here is non-invasive. It's designed to work without the person having to wear a special button or some kind of device. And this flowchart here, it just illustrates the whole process brilliantly. The system starts with a camera collecting video data. It then uses something called pose estimation to analyze a person's position. If it detects a fall based on certain rules, bam, it automatically shoots an alert out to a caregiver. It's a continuous, watchful loop. So let's break that down a bit. On the left, you can see how the system identifies all these key points on the body to create a sort of digital skeleton. If that skeleton stays in what it thinks is a fallen pose for more than 3 seconds, it triggers the alert you see on the right, a direct message to a caregiver, complete with a snapshot of what just happened. So how well did it work? Well, the results are pretty wild. In their controlled tests, using their own custom data set of different poses, the system hit 100% across the board. Accuracy, precision, you name it. Now, of course, real-world conditions are always going to be more challenging, but this shows an incredibly powerful and effective proof of concept. Okay, for our third and final solution, we're shifting focus back from physical safety to emotional well being. This one uses artificial intelligence to try and provide direct social support. The whole idea here is to use AI assistants, whether it's a general purpose one like an Amazon Alexa or a specialized robot like EliQ, for actual companionship. These things aren't just for checking the weather. They're being designed to actively engage people in conversation and personalized interactions, all to combat loneliness. But there's a fundamental conflict in the design. See, most AIs right now, they rely on trial and error. You say something, and if it doesn't get it, you just have to try again. But the research shows many older adults much prefer something called errorless learning. That's clear, guided instructions that help prevent them from making mistakes and feeling frustrated in the first place. And that mismatch leads us to these really crucial design takeaways. Above all else, users want to feel in control. They also want to be treated with dignity, so, designs that feel kind of childish or infantilizing can be a total non-starter. And finally, there's that constant back and forth, that negotiation between how useful the tech is versus how much personal data you have to give up to use it. So, we've seen three very different kinds of technology. But now, let's pull the camera back and look at the common threads. What are the human challenges that exist, beyond all the programming and the hardware? I mean, we clearly have the technology to build some amazing tools, but what's that secret ingredient, right? What is the common thread that determines whether a piece of tech is actually adopted and makes a real, tangible difference in someone's life? It turns out, whether we're talking about digital literacy, fall detection, or an AI buddy, all of these run into the same fundamental human truth: the need for agency. This one idea covers so much, from overcoming that vocabulary gap we talked about, to navigating privacy, and most of all, that deep, universal desire to be in control and to be treated with dignity. And in the end, it really might just come down to this. This quote from Julia, one of the coaches in that digital literacy program, it just says it all. The real value wasn't just teaching someone how to use a tablet, it was building a supportive community. The technology, it was simply the tool that brought everyone together. And that leaves us with this one big final question. As our technology gets smarter and smarter, the biggest challenge we face isn't technical. It's human. It's making sure that in our rush to solve problems, our solutions also become more understanding, more respectful, and ultimately more like the people they're actually designed to help.